6 simple machines are used to change the direction of a force or the size of a force. The inclined plane, or ramp, is a simple machine that has been used for thousands of years. It was used by the Egyptians over 4,000 years ago to build their huge pyramids. Over 2 million giant blocks of stone, each weighing about 4,500 pounds, were moved up inclines and dragged into place. It's amazing to think that people living over 4,000 years ago were able to build such magnificent structures using basic tools such as the inclined plane. They didn't have the modern equipment we have today to move these huge blocks of stone into place. Today, the inclined plane is still very useful. It is easier to slide this heavy load up the inclined plane than it is to lift the load straight up. Roads will go around a hill or mountain at an incline instead of straight up the hill or mountain. This makes it easier for cars and trucks to get up the steep hills or mountains. It may take longer to wind up the hill or mountain, but it will be less wear and tear on the vehicle. This wooden cart weighs 100 grams, as you can see from the spring scale. When the cart is dragged up the inclined plane, the reading on the spring scale is only about 25 grams, which is much less. The incline makes it easier for the cart to get from one level to another. If a hill is too steep to ride a bicycle straight up, then the best plan is to zigzag back and forth. The biker will go a greater distance, but will use less effort. Often inclines are used to make it easier to get into buildings. Stairs are inclined planes that have steps cut into them to make it easier to climb. Even the roofs on houses are inclines to let snow and rain run off of them. The wedge is another simple machine, and it happens to be closely related to the inclined plane. A wedge is actually 2 inclined planes put together. The wedge is probably the most common simple machine. Knives, axes, and saw teeth are all examples of wedges. A wedge is anything that cuts or splits things apart. The sharp teeth on this table saw will easily cut through wood. The tip of a nail is a wedge because, as it is driven into wood, it pushes the wood apart. But once the nail has been driven into the wood around the nail is still tight. Scissors have been sharpened as wedges along the blade. A jackhammer has a wedge tip that cuts into cement and concrete easily. A shovel is a wedge designed to cut into the ground. This backhoe has wedges on the teeth that are used to cut into ground. A thumbtack has a wedge. It is sharp, so it can poke through things easily. The other end of the tack has a large surface, so you can push it in easily. A screw, like a nail, has a tip that has a wedge for cutting. This allows the screw to be turned into wood or